Level 6.
Art with Mr. Z.
Level 6 has a new element that I want to introduce. Here we can see hidden geometry. Hidden geometry means that there are edges behind the faces of the object that we can see. So if this object was solid, we would not see these edges, but we still want our viewer to know that those edges are there. This hidden geometry is going to show up in one of the three views. Watch carefully to see where it shows up. At this point, before I begin drawing, I'm going to set up my paper with some inside parallels so that I have lines against which I can put each view of my drawing. I made these lines using my ruler at a width so that the lines would be parallel to the borders of my drawing. This is an arbitrary width. I could have measured and done an inch in, I could have measured and done an inch and a half, it doesn't really matter. I happen to know that this ruler is about 1 3/8 inches wide, but the point is to get the inside lines to be parallel so that that saves me a little bit of measuring later, and it gives me something to measure against when I'm trying to make sure that my other lines will be parallel or perpendicular, whichever they need to be. The level 6 drawing is a little bit different from what we've been seeing, because as you can see now the footprint is different. Before, all of our drawings have been 1 inch wide by 2 inches deep by 1 inch high, but now we have a drawing that's 1.5 inches wide. So we have to be aware of that when we consider our top view and our front view. And here's why we made the inside border. Dropped it down, so I'm ready to go with the side view. Generally, the farther away you make the other dot to aim at, as long as they're lined up correctly, the more accurate your parallel is going to be. So I measured 1.5 inches in from here, and instead of measuring 1.5 inches in from here, I measured it from way over here, because that gives me something a bit more accurate to aim at. Now I need to express the hidden geometry in the front view. I know that it's only in the front view because from the top view, I would be able to see all these edges. There's nothing hidden from me as I look down. And from the side view, the same is true. I'm able to see this, and I'm able to see this, and there's nothing in between where my eye would be and a surface of the object. But when I come around to the front view, I'm looking at this face of it, and I would only see this rectangle, except that I want to express that there's also this face of the object behind this one. And so I just need to line it up with whatever faces it's attached to. When you go to make your dashed lines, try to make it very neat and don't use too many dashes. I would say for 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, 3 dashes is enough. And try to get your dashes to end so that they connect with the line that they're supposed to actually meet. So I'm not leaving a gap. Now it's time to label and dimension my different views. First, I need to add this line. Dimensioning starting with the side view, and by now you understand why that is. Level 6. Let's look at level 7. In level 7, we're seeing hidden geometry in the isometric view, but there actually is no hidden geometry in any of the other views. As we look down from the top, we're going to see that we should be seeing a rectangle and something that looks kind of like, I don't know, maybe a slipper or a carriage. So it has kind of like an arrow, but with just one little fin. From the side, we're going to see a long rectangle with a shorter rectangle on top of it, and maybe some kind of rectangle here as well, that we would see that from that angle. There is hidden geometry here. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We will see hidden geometry from the side view. And if you imagine this isometric, you would also see those hidden edges as well. So from the front, we're going to be seeing this rectangle. It's divided, and then we're going to be seeing that face, the one that is hidden in the isometric. And then we will see a sort of upside down L for this face right here. And you can see what the finished thing should look like. It seems that I dimensioned it mostly in the top view. Today I'm going to show you how to dimension the side view and the front view. Remember, you only need to dimension 3 dimensions: up, down, left, and right. Or rather, width, depth, and height. So if we look at the isometric, we need to dimension the width, the height, and the depth. Please be aware, in the isometric there is a mistake. This should be 3/4 inches, not 1 inch. Right there, this measurement from here to here is 3/4 inches, not 1 inch. Level 7. Let's take a look at level 8. This is the last level in the technical drawing packet that you're going to have to complete. As you can see, once again, in the isometric, we have hidden geometry. And in the general drawing, we also have hidden geometry showing up. The isometric contains a shorthand labeling dimension to make things simpler. I encourage you, if you do, to find a simpler way to dimension this, but this kind of shorthand is acceptable because it is clear. You're going to notice that I added in some hidden geometry to the isometric here that may not appear in the technical drawing packet online, so please be aware of this. That could have been a mistake in the original. And that's there to help you figure out what the finished thing should look like in the various views.